Justin, year 3. Crazy? Time has flown this fast, do you think?
Yeah, it's gone by really fast. Just the other day, I remember showing up here throughout the whole COVID protocols and just going to camp and going to online meetings and all that fun stuff, but it's gone by really fast.
Does it feel normal now?
It's starting to.
Yeah.
It's nice to have off-season and be around with the guys and especially start throwing with those guys. And it's great that we have the weight room open all year because we're here, we're getting meals, and hanging out with the guys is part of football.
Another part of normalcy, I think, is the fact that there's consistency now. No scheme changes, no coaching changes. How beneficial is that for you?
I think my favorite part is not having to learn another language of football, and everything's called the same, and you get to work with the same protections and all the plays. And everyone in the system's now got a year under their belt, and when we started throwing, we kind of already knew what we were getting into, and we were way ahead of where we were last year at this time, so I think it's been really good for us.
How has your approach changed from last year now to this year?
I think it's been pretty similar. I think it's still to master the offense, to really understand it inside and out, and at the same time be the best quarterback that I can be. And we've spent a lot of time working on dropbacks, our footwork, the meshes between the running backs and the quarterbacks, and all the things that go into it because you can always get better at that.
How are you a different quarterback than you were when you came in 2 years ago?
That's a good question. I think I've probably had more experience with the NFL game, and the more you go through it, the more you learn. And obviously you're going to make mistakes, and that's the unfortunate part about football, but you have to learn from them. And every interception I've thrown, incompletion, it's been a lesson. And sure, there have been times where we win games, we throw touchdowns and do these great things, but at the same time you have to learn from your down moments because you're doing your best to avoid those again.
So a lot of new faces on this team, we'll get to some of them, but a guy who remained was Mike Williams. And this was an off-season where we saw a lot of receiver movement, but for you personally, what did it mean to have him back and also just in this offense as well?
Mike's been an incredible weapon. He's been an incredible teammate as well, and he's been so much fun to get to know. And I was actually in the weight room lifting when Tom Telesco texted me that we re-signed him, and I ran upstairs into their meeting. I was like, "Is it true? Is it true?" And they
you had a good source.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
But I was so excited, fired up because he's a guy that changes our offense, and to have him around, he makes us so much better.
So what's the vibe when you hear things like the team's trading for Khalil Mack, signing J.C. Jackson, getting a guy like Gerald Everett for you?
It's a lot of fun. I really believed in our team last year, but the way they're going and the way this coaching staff, the front office has done their job to make our team better. I'm really excited for it because those guys you bring in, they're great culture guys, they're team guys, and they're going to play their best. And so to have more guys like that, it's only going to help.
Sent a lot of welcome texts.
Yeah, just tried to introduce myself as much as I can and get those guys comfortable.
So the team also drafted Zion Johnson in the first round, more protection up front. Biggest question though, are you going to get him out of his golf retirement?
I was not
former golfer.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure with all the golf that goes on the locker room, it won't be long before he's back.
So speaking of that, the last time you and I spoke was at your golf tournament. I know there's a match that's happening in a couple weeks. I don't think any of those 4 guys hit a hole-in-one this offseason, unlike you. But if you had to create a Chargers match, who would it be?
So like a 2-on-2.
I would pick 2-on-2. You one of them, obviously.
I'd pick Keenan on my team. I think he's very good off the tee. He's a guy that I've gone golfing with a bunch, and we feel comfortable with each other's games out there. The sharpest dressed man on the course today. The 2 guys that I would want to play.
The hard-hitting stuff.
That's a good question. I'd pick Jerry Tillery because I've seen him golf, and I know that we could beat him. And then I would pair Jerry up with probably Braden Fajoko, just because I think they go at it sometimes. So to have those guys, I know they're already picking each other apart.
Kind of combust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Keenan and I would take them.
Fair. Schedule came out a couple weeks ago. What's the first thing you look at when you see it?
I look for all the cold games, actually.
There are none really, except for one at the end of the year.
That's a great, and you kind of look later in the year and you see, where are we going to play, whether it's Kansas City, Denver, Denver week 18, I believe. But other than that, we've got a couple road games, 4 or 5 after the bye, I believe. So those are kind of the things you look at as well.
Does it feel more real now that you have something that you know you're actually going to play in a few months?
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. And, you look at the week 2 matchup, Kansas City, you never want to look too far ahead, but those are always fun. And Thursday night, whether they're primetime games, Sunday, Monday, you're just excited to be out there.
So you've accomplished obviously a lot in your first 2 years. You've done things no other quarterback has done. I was talking with Shane Day, and he said that year 2 is not only big, but it's a lot of fun. in this system? And what excites you most about year 3, obviously, with the Chargers, but year 2 now working with this staff?
Yeah, just knowing the offense, because last year during OTAs it was kind of brutal, to be honest. And they
kept your cool though.
Coach Lombardi had Drew Brees for a long time, and Drew was so smart and he knew exactly what he was doing in this offense, and they brought it to me. And having been into my second year, really, I didn't really know as much nearly as Drew Brees did, so they asked a lot of me, and I was kind of drowning, but to have gone through a year in it, I feel a little more comfortable now.
Football is fun, right?
Exactly.
Thanks, Justin.
If you want to see more content like this, check out the link right here.